And we're back with another glorious week of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. So from the last chapter we had where obviously they made the announcement of the fourth fight, right? Which will be Yamamoto versus Squallow. Not only that, with the whole Hibari coming in and like wanting to fight everybody until, Reborn was able to calm him down because the school is being destroyed as we speak. Okay, Gokudera lost the Ring of Storm, so it's again 3 versus 1, and then opposite 1 versus 3. And we have our Dino, who was trying to look for Hibari, came to tell Suna, and especially Yamamoto, basically the whole ordeal about Squallow and how originally he was meant to be the leader of the Varya instead of Zanzis, okay? And that's where chapter 105 left us at. Now we get into chapter 106, where it's titled Yamamoto's Choice, Yamamoto's Choice, right? And it's funny because it's with his title and they're showing Squallow instead, but okay, but you'll understand why they called it that. So the chapter begins off actually where, remember back in the fight with Lambo and Levy, and that's where we saw Zanzis once more once he acquired the Sky Ring, the Flame of Sky Ring. Ugh. He obtained it because Suna interrupted into that fight, right? To save Lambo. Obviously he lost his ring and Lambo lost his ring as well. So in that fight, once Zanzis acquired the ring, he was mocking both Reborn and Imitsu, saying that like something not may have happened to the knight. I don't know. Nor do I really care. I suggest you go and try to figure out what happened. So this put both Imitsu and Reborn into a frenzy, and that's when Imitsu had to tell Reborn and tell Suna that, hey, I have to leave. I'm not going to be able to come back for a while, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly back to Japan and go check up on the knight. So with chapter 106, we start off where we're back in Italy. And they're checking. We have where Imitsu and his other people, because remember he's administration and everything, the ambassador. So basically, they work behind the scenes, and if anything push comes to shove, he actually would outrank everybody else and become second in command right behind the boss. Okay, so while he's there with his people, he's asking one of his subordinates who, like, I don't know what's up with the seasonings and all that. We got basil. That's not even his full name. We got basil. Now we got oregano. Yo, she was cooking. Akira Amano was cooking something when she was making this series. Like, she was calling out all the seasoning names. Like, we got basil. We got oregano. Who else have we had? I forgot who, but like, that's like with Dragon Ball Z with Vegeta vegetables. Gohan, rice, like, bro. But anyway, it's just so funny when they be with these names, bro. But his subordinate Oregano is saying that like they managed to get the 6 others out of the building safely. So we have where Imitsu is thinking along the lines that like whether whatever Zanzis was saying, whether he was bluffing or not, they still have to double check, because around the perimeter where the Ninth currently lives, there's no one surveillancing the area, okay? So he's like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take those who managed to get out safely, and what we're going to do is we're going to infiltrate the place and make sure there's no Varya members or anything of that sort. And their whole objective is to rescue the knight. Okay, so if anybody gets in their way while they're going into the manor, okay, whether it be Varya or any other people, they have to fight them off and try to retrieve the knight to make sure that he's okay, and that hopefully with fingers crossed, what Zanza said is false. And if not, then that's going to be basically civil war happening, because even though the Varya can move on its own, they are still directly under the Vongola's operations. They're still under Vongola's leadership. So it will seem like a coup d'etat, it'll seem like a betrayal, and it will be targeted on the Varya's back, right? And on top of that, they did mention that he is the Knight's son, okay, in 2-3 chapters ago. They did mention that, but regardless of that, it will be like topsy-turvy civil war happening within the entirety of the Mongola organization, and that's probably the one thing that Imitsu and Reborn and all of them don't want to happen. So now we get back to where in Japan, Suna is training with Basil and Reborn once more, and you can tell that Suna is he's not reluctant to train, okay? He's actually amped up because, you know, everyone's life is on the line, okay? They can't afford to lose again. So he's pretty like, we gotta go train because I have to beat Zanzis. And I hope that no one says, oh, he flips flops and everything. No. As Suna knows that business needs to be dealt with, he's going to be at the front line of doing it, okay? So while they're resting after training and everything, we have where Reborn gives Suna this piece of paper. It's actually a photo. And it's a photo of the knight, and he looks very nice. Okay, like he's an elderly man, but what I mean by nice, he looks like someone's grandpa. You know, you would have never thought this old man was the head of a mafia organization that has blood on his hands for many years. Okay, what is this elderly man with this kitten in his arms? It doesn't help with that stereotype either. You know, the mafia bosses with a cat in there. It's not a white one, but regardless, a cat, the stereotypes. But regardless of the fact, he looks like he can be someone's grandpa. He's the father of like a tyrant, Zanzis, right? What is going on here? And I kind of find Suna's response to the whole thing, seeing like this is the man that nominated him to become the 10th boss of the Mongola family, almost lukewarm in a way, because you would have thought, okay, for Suna that's always saying he doesn't want to be part of the Mongola, he doesn't want to deal nothing with the mafia, you would have thought he would have been more angry or seeing this photo, but it almost seems like Suna calmed down when he saw the photo, you know, and in a way it seems like a kid looking, you know, how would I say, it's like he was never truly angry at him. It just felt like his reaction towards seeing that photo of the knight was almost like a kid being angry at his grandpa or something, like, and it's not even like that anger, it's more like, oh grandpa, you told me to go do this and I don't really want to go do it, you know, that type of upset, like pouting in a way. So there is that. He's like, I don't like him because he's making me do all of this, do this whole fighting and trying to become the 10th and everything. But again, it goes back to like, I want to go back to training. There's no point of complaining about like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to fight because I have to deal with Zanzis, okay, at the end of the day. So there is, again, that level of character development that I liked about Suna in this particular moment. And of course, with Yamamoto coming later in the chapter, is the reason why I like his character. Of course, they do go into explanation about Squallow, how Dino knows him, how he almost became the leader, but didn't due to Zanzis. So they have a little flashback where Dino is telling Suna and Yamamoto the whole ordeal of how strong that Squallow is, how he has transcended styles and towards of swordsmanship, because both Dino and Squallow used to go to school together, okay? They went to school where it's filled with a lot of kids like them who had ties to different mafia backgrounds or people that dealt with the mafia, that type of stuff. And Squallow was always strong since he was young, okay? He would fight with hundreds upon dozens of different masters of different sword styles, and he would beat each and every one of them, acquiring their style for his own, okay, once he has beaten them. It got to the point where the Varya realized how strong Squallow was that they wanted to recruit him. So at the time when the Varya was recruiting him, there was a Varya boss who was also a swords master by the name of Tri. And Squallow said at that time he said, I'm only going to join the Varya if I beat the head of the Varya. Okay, if I can beat the leader of the Varya, that's when I will join. And guess what? He did. They fought for 2 days, a death match. They fought for 2 days and he defeated Tri. And that's when he joined the Varya. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky, or more so, it seems like it's left up in the air. It's questionable because him joining the Varya after he defeated the old leader of the group, he did that, right? And him being so strong would have led to the other members saying, yeah, since he defeated our leader, he should automatically, and he's the strongest, he should automatically take place as the leader of the Varya. But somehow Zanzis rolled up, and now he's now Squallow's second in command, and we have where Zanzis is leader. Now, I know for some of you may assume that it's because, you know, he's the son of the ninth, so he must have just ended up taking the place or something, but Dino says, even in this chapter, he's like, I don't even know how Zanzis became leader. He doesn't even know how it came to be. No one has that information. Okay, what did Zanzis do or didn't do that led him into the position that he's in today? And why is it that Squallow, who was most fit for that position because he defeated the old leader, why is he now a subordinate instead of being leader? That is a question that actually they will go more into detail as chapters go by, and they'll tell you the reasons as to why. But that's basically how it broke down. That's the history of Squallow being part of the Varya, as well as a little bit of how Dino came to know him from like around Suna and Yamamoto's age. And we didn't really get much information about Zanzis in this chapter, but it's still left up to a mystery, right? So on top of that, we have where Dino saying that because Squallow has transcended many styles, he basically is a master of multiple sword styles. And with Yamamoto only knowing one, the Shigure Souen sword art style, he has no possible way of defeating Squallow, which to many of us would think, you know, he's right. If you only know one particular skill versus a guy or girl who knows 20 skills, think of it like this. You're applying for a job and you only have like 5 soft skills, and then somebody else comes in for the same interview and they have 10 soft skills on top of 10 hard skills, okay? Overall, they have 20 skills. You think the person who is hiring you is going to look at you who only has 5 soft skills and want to hire you? So that's how Dino is looking at the whole thing. Yamamoto, who only has 1, versus Squallow, who has many. This is spelling out for Yamamoto's major loss. And of course, we do have it where Yamamoto is like questioning, like, man, now they get back to present time, he's questioning, how can I transcend style against a guy who's done it all, you know? And this time around, we have where Suna and Reborn, while they were on their way home from training, decided to stop by and to check up on Yamamoto, you know? This is why both Yamamoto and Suna are my 2 favorite characters. They go back and forth between number 1 and number 2. It's because of, like, their character developments. Like, a lot of people would just think, oh, Suna cries a lot, or Yamamoto is the guy who just always laughs at the situation. But it's little moments like these where Suna takes on his task very seriously. You see him little by little acquiring leadership skills, and where even Yamamoto has his times where he's sitting down and he's just very, very much contemplating of what he's going to do next. Okay, it's not no laughing matter, even though he seems to have like a very calm face, even a smile on his face, but he's really thinking. He's in his own zone, thinking of what his next step will be. It's these little moments that I love about these 2 characters, because to some it may not seem in character, but it is very much in character for both of them. So going back to it, we have her Reborn. It's just like, so how are you gonna beat Squallow? Soon as just like, so you really just got straight to the point. Even Yamamoto answering Born is like, you know what, actually I really don't know how I'm going to beat this guy. Like, no matter what route I can think of, me only knowing the Shigure Souen style versus this guy knowing God knows what, I don't see the possible route of me beating him with just this one technique, you know? Now we have where his dad comes in, and his dad is just like, hey, what's up, Suna? Hey, Reborn, how's it going? Oh, Yamamoto, today's your match, right? Today's the day. Suna is just like, how did he know? Mind you, his dad told him. He didn't go into full details, but he's like, your son has a match with another swordsman and everything. So he does tell his dad that it's like, I'm having trouble right now. I don't know how I'm going to beat him because, like, he's a swords master who's done it all. He has multiple techniques, mastered a lot of skills, and I don't think I can beat him with the skill that I have, because in order to be on the same level as him, I have to transcend my style. This sent Yamamoto's dad into a frenzy. He's like, transcend! Transcend! Yo, the Shigure Souen style is perfect and flawless. Who are you to say this style cannot beat him? Okay? So he was upset with that. He gave him a sword, right? It looks like a regular bamboo sword, but once you use the Shigure Souen style, it turns into you see the blade. Okay, so when you're using any other style except for Shigure, it's just a regular bamboo, and it does have weight to it. I mean, anime, manga logic and everything. It reminds you, think back to, which they even mention in here, think back to the Kyoko arc, where Yamamoto had his baseball bat that Reborn gave him before he went to go fight Ken. And when he swung the sword, this is before he really even knew any sword style or anything of that sort, it turned into an actual sword. It turned with the blade and everything. So that's the sword he's going to be bringing to the fight. So it goes back to, like, again, Yamamoto saying that, there's no way, I have to use a transcending style to defeat him in every way. And he's like, the Shigure Souen style has 8 forms, okay? And they've been refined over years by different masters who came to learn this particular style, okay? So, no single movement is wasted. So that's how strict and rigid this particular art, I wouldn't even say art style, sword style is, okay? Nothing can surpass it. It is flawless. It is the strongest, and is the most invincible sword style there is. And by his father saying that, it got Yamamoto like, oh, he got a exclamation point. Like, it's like an idea just went off in his head. Now it's later that night where he, along with Suna, Basil, and Reborn, get to the school, and Yamamoto looks so relaxed. Like, this dude is just walking, he's whistling, he's humming, and Suna obviously is still kind of worried, but it's different compared to everybody else, okay? Because he's thinking, Yamamoto, again, still only has this style. How is he going to face against the guy who was meant to be the Varia leader? The second strongest of the Varia. How is he going to be able to do that? Okay, we do have where Squall does pop up into the scene, because they start to hear a voice saying, hey, and then he sees that Yamamoto has the bamboo sword that can turn into its regular form with the blade and everything. Yamamoto is telling him, I'm going to take you down with this katana and all that stuff. So, we have where Suna is just like, hold on, you really think you're gonna go into this fight? You can't transcend or nothing. How are you gonna fight him? And Yamamoto quickly calms down Suna, saying, my dad said it's invincible, so why wouldn't it be? He takes it to heart. He said, if it's invincible, and this is the style that not only invincible, it's the strongest and the most flawless, who am I to deny that? Okay, who am I to question that? Of course, we have our scholars mocking him and saying that style, I fought many people, thousands of people. Your style will make, everybody said the same thing as you did. You will be no different, okay? So it does end off with a chapter that Suna does calm down and everything, okay? And it comes down because, like, Yamamoto is saying, this whole moment is reminding him. Remember, at the end of the day, Yamamoto is an athlete. He plays baseball at his school. And he's like, this moment reminds you of like the last pitch, the last few minutes of a game where it's like high anticipation to hit that home run. And it's the chills that's going down his spine. And it's not out of fear, it's out of great anticipation. And then Suna looks at him and it's like, yeah, you know what? I guess the reason why I can still keep training, why I wasn't so nervous and like focused on what I have to do, is because knowing Yamamoto, he's always able to find a way. And it ends off with Yamamoto just smiling. And again, this goes back to why I love Yamamoto and Suna's character, because they can just always bounce back. Like, yes, I know a lot of people who are like, yo, Hibari is the strongest. Yes, he is the strongest guardian and everything. But when it comes down to not just being the strongest or anything of that sort, but a character that's just able to, and it fits into his qualities, you know? It fits into the qualities of the ring, tranquility. That no matter how much the waves may be raging, no matter how scary the situation may be, just his presence alone can calm it can tranquil everyone, okay? If Yamamoto says, and his dad says, this style is perfect, believe what he says. You know, for a guy that was worrying, and he's like, he got reassured. He's going into this battle that despite who his enemy is, he believes in himself 110% that he's going to come out the victor, okay? And this caused Suna to calm down. This led Suna to believe in Yamamoto, and also not only believe in Yamamoto, but believe in himself that he can focus on his own task, because he knows Yamamoto got it. Okay, they may be at times scaredy cats, or like they laugh at every situation or don't take nothing seriously, but when it comes to moments like these, you can always expect the best out of both Yamamoto and Suna. Obviously, Gokudera and Ryohei aren't here, and it's more likely due to their like injuries or anything, or probably they may pop up, who knows. But guys, do tell me how you felt about chapter 106 of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, how you feel about the progression of Yamamoto's character, as well as Suna's. Okay, what do you think is going to happen in Italy in regards to the 9th situation, and what does Sanzas have up his sleeve? What do you think he did? Did he actually do what he said he did, or is he just bluffing to get everyone up on their toes? Leave your comments down below. The links are in the description box. You guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye. With